At 129.8 pounds. His professional record, 25 victories, including 21 wins by knockout, only 2 defeats. From Cartagena, Colombia, the challenger, Miguel El Escorpión Marriaga. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing yellow with red. Official weight 130 pounds. He's a 2-time Olympic gold medal champion. And as a professional, he has 8 victories, including 6 wins by knockout and 1 defeat. That's a split decision loss. He's recognized by many as among the best in the world, pound for pound. From Akerman, Ukraine, the 2-time world champion, reigning, defending WBO junior lightweight champion of the world, Vasyl High-Tech Lomachenko.
Veteran California referee Jack Reese, the 3rd man inside the ropes for us tonight.
Mouthpiece. These are good. These are right at the belt line. I'm going to let them work in here. I gave you both instructions in the dressing room. I want to mind you, listen and obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Pelea duro, pelea limpio. Fight hard, fight clean. Poco lo malo. Buena suerte.
Lomachenko, who won a world title in just his 3rd pro fight, hasn't happened in boxing in 39 years, who won a 2nd division world championship in his 7th pro fight. That's boxing's all-time record. And now another step forward as he continues to try to reach his goal of being considered the pound-for-pound best in the world.
You know, I mentioned earlier that fighters remind me of movies. If Lomachenko was a movie, he'd be The Matrix. He'd be Neo, the guy dodging everything. You can't touch him.
Lomachenko's told us in the fighter meeting he's going to start slow. He likes to show his talent. He likes to just start slow, start smooth, and then open up later in the fight.
And you know what talent that shows to me, Timmy? His intellect. In other words, he likes to see things, pervade things. He likes to think.
Solve the puzzle. Unlock it, and then finish it.
You know what I like about Lomachenko? I like the fact that he's directly in front of you. He's not moving around, dancing around, trying to find angles. He's directly in front of you. You think he's in punching range, he gets out of punching range. You think you can hit him, he makes you miss. He's constantly putting pressure on you, inching forward, putting his right foot on the outside of your left foot to get in position to land punches.
Like a great fighter in the 80s, Pernell Whitaker.
You know, it's interesting. We make so many comparisons often with Lomachenko with some of the all-time great defensive fighters. But yet, many of his punch stats also play to the other side of things, that he can be so skilled offensively. Now, you say a little later on that's when that comes about.
Well, I'll tell you one of his skills right now. He changes his opponent's mentality. Right now, Marriaga, who usually starts a little faster, is tentative. Why? Because he's afraid of missing.
Great point. Opponents land only 17% of their total punches against Lomachenko. That's number 2 in the world, behind the only other 2-time Olympic gold medalist who's a champ currently, Guillermo Rigondeaux.
In other words, he changes your mentality. He makes you think about not getting hurt, not getting caught, instead of catching the other guy.
Marriaga did something that he needs to do and go down to that body. He went down there with the right hand to the body.
That's one way to take some air out of those tires of Lomachenko. Go downstairs, put some water in the basement. Lomachenko, so accurate.
Lomachenko puts so much pressure on you. It's like having a car just burning gas in the middle of the driveway.
Comes in with a left hand to the body there. perfect range right in front of you to be offensive, yet defensively superb, flicking that right jab, doubling up that time against Marriaga.
Constantly inching forward, putting pressure on the fighter.
And he will inch backwards when you come forward. Like that.
Showing a superb skill, flawless defensively. End of round number 1. Of course, that great amateur pedigree really paid off. 396 amateur fights, 395 wins.
Not bad.
Including 2 times Olympic gold medalist, was named the best boxer overall in the Olympic Games in 2008. His second pro fight, he took on a veteran in Orlando Salido, a world champion. Close fight, took a split decision loss, learned a lesson, didn't hit the gas pedal till late there, was getting ready to get rid of Salido. Doesn't even care if he ever has to avenge it because he's surpassed that at this point, going on to win a featherweight world title and now a 130-pound world title. In fact, Orlando Salido was offered this fight and turned it down for $750,000. He said no, so Lomachenko marches on, and he does so right now with the second round against Marriaga.
Lomachenko's been bigger lately. Last 3 fights, 129, 130 pounds. While the last 3 fights, Marriaga has been between 125, 126. Basically, a featherweight and a junior lightweight.
Well, Lomachenko's going up in weight because nobody wants to fight him at 126. Nobody, well, this guy will fight him at 130, but no one wants to fight him at 35 or 40 either.
Always interesting to get a fighter's first impressions when you're actually in there with Lomo. Bernardo Osuna was listening in to the corner of Miguel.
Yeah, and they said what any corner would say, but this is tougher against Lomachenko because of his skill set. They said, you've got to roll with his punches and then counter with the right. The right is going to be the key to beat this southpaw.
Marriaga was on the floor in his last fight. That might not be too far away from his memory.
That was a thriller, entertaining battle back in April 22nd for the featherweight title against Oscar Valdez. He was knocked down in the 10th round from a left hook that you referenced.
Sometimes you can have bats in the belfry, sometimes you can have bad memories in your mind. Marriaga might still have that bad memory in his mind, and now he's got the boogeyman in front of him.
See Lomachenko utilizing the jab a little more here. The wide right hand. Right hand can often be so effective against southpaws if it's shot straight down.
Marriaga right now is fighting the wrong game plan against Lomachenko.
How so, Timmy?
If he wants a chance to win in this fight, he needs to step to Lomachenko, bang him to the body, make it rough and tough, make it an inside fight, and he's bagging up. Every time Lomachenko steps forward, he's bagging up like he's trying to outbox him.
The problem is when Marriaga steps forward, quite often Lomachenko will go back just enough to make him fall short and make him feel that he's falling into a trap.
Useful right hand to the body.
If Marriaga comes forward 6 inches, Lomachenko has the ability to go back 8.
Lomachenko continues to touch him with that southpaw jab, that right hand. There he does it again.
Yeah, the old timers would say it so far very simply. Lomachenko's the boss.
More steady work rate here as we come to the final moments of round number 2. A round in which Lomachenko has landed 36% of his jabs thrown.
Ты расслабляешься в конце после атаки. Нужны повторные, Вася. Дураков зачем вылавливать? Посмотри, после прямого в живот печень открывается. И после твоей атаки он
everybody's gonna see here how Marriaga lands this right hand over the top. Lomachenko getting real comfortable in there, getting a little bit cocky, gets clipped, standing straight up. That's the reason why he's clipped with that right hand. Marriaga stayed low, looped the shot over the top, and hit him with a clean right hand.
It was one of 10 punches landed in that round by Miguel Marriaga. He was outlanded 21-10 by Vasily Lomachenko.
And for you young fighters out there, that's the benefit of throwing 2 punches instead of 1. The left hook misses, the right hand can land.
I asked Lomachenko in the fighter meeting, I said, what happened in that Salido fight? And he told me I started late. And what I think what he means by that is he gives a couple of maybe 4 or 5 rounds. He feels the guys out, wears them down a bit, and then goes in for the kill. He did that against Salido, and he ended up losing the fight.
But he also became a pro in that fight.
And it's unheard of for anybody in their second pro fight to take on that kind of challenge. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous to think that you would face Salido in your second pro fight.
As good as he is, he wasn't quite mentally ready for a tough, rugged guy that was going to take him 12 rounds and was going to cheat a little bit. You know, within the realm of cheating, if there is a realm of cheating. Elbows, pushing, roughing him up, not letting the golden boy have it his way.
Yeah.
He wasn't quite ready for that. But if it was a couple rounds longer, he wins. He got ready on the job.
Well, he told me never again.
Well, he's touching right now. He's touching downstairs with the left hand, trying to set up something upstairs. That's what he does. That's where he does his little David Copperfield magician stuff. Sleight of hand. Makes you think something's over here when it's really over there.
Boy, I'm going to tell you this. He better not mess up on the trick because that right hand is coming close.
The right hands is the punch you like to use against the lefty. Lomachenko is a lefty. Right hands can be the southpaw killer.
But if I was Marriaga, I would actually throw that right hand to the body as opposed to always constantly trying to...
First knockdown scored of the night by High Tech. He says, come on, I'm going to sit right here in this neutral corner. You come to me. Look at this. Loma waving him in. Wide right hand from Marriaga dancing in his face.
He's the spider telling the beetle, come on in.
Boy, oh boy, is he entertaining. He says, let's make a fight of it. Knockdown scored, antics played, Vasily Lomachenko.
Шанс это ближняя дистанция, средняя, ты понимаешь? Только ты его растягиваешь, он ничего не может делать. Вот здесь нужно его накатывать, здесь находить. Ну так ты развернись сбоку. Сбоку.
Here's what happened.
Well, first of all, he steps on his foot. Let's get a better replay than that, guys, in the truck. You can do better. All right, here we go. You go straight back. You're still in the line of the punch. The left hand lands. Not a devastating punch, but that time we're not seeing the feet. But trust me, the feet get tangled. That happens with an orthodox and a southpaw fighter. He steps on his foot, and he also steps on his chin with a left hand and scores a knockdown. Not a devastating punch, but between legs and punch, a 10-8 round.
Straight left hand that puts Marriaga down. As you see the CompuBox numbers, the power punches in that third round, 41% landed by the champ.
Listen, if the truck hears me, look at their feet a little bit. I'm going to tell you, this guy is so calm, Lomachenko. And I'm not saying he's cheating, but he's doing anything that's available to him. He takes his right foot, the lead right foot, and he steps on the lead left foot of his opponent, knowing that he's going to trip him up, knowing that when he throws something at him, he's going to try to pull back. And guess what? He can't pull back. He gets caught with the left uppercut.
Such a sharp, accurate punch by Lomachenko moments ago with that left uppercut.
Joe, watch the
Look
feet
at him,
again.
putting his face right out there, lowering his guard defensively. Just punking Marriaga.
Well, that's being Frank Sinatra a little bit. He can croon, he can hit the high notes, but he also knows how to woo a room.
Oh, he's discouraging. I think he's just trying to discourage Marriaga and let him know I can do anything in this ring.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter what you trying to do.
Breaking his will with both speed, defensive prowess, every which way.
And spirit.
You got it. Touching him. Some pity pat and then some power punches. Remember, he lands 51% of his power punches, number 3 among all-time active fighters.
And he doesn't let you breathe.
Right on top of you each and every time, Teddy.
On you, like that old saying, like a cheap suit. He ain't so cheap, though.
No, he's not. Took an angle right there and landed the right uppercut. Took that angle to the left, and there was a clash of heads that Jack Reese is going to peek at both men, see if there's any damage. And there is blood now coming from the left eye of Vasily Lomachenko.
That's the first time Lomachenko has been cut since his pro debut. He had a small cut in his pro debut under his left eye, also from a head clash.
I can tell you this, he's going to be upset when he goes into the dressing room tonight because he says that he raised his performance on how he looks after his fight. He got a cut over one eye, and he has a little welt over the other eye. He won't be happy tonight.
It's a near slip near that blue corner. Could be some ice or water. What an accurate right hand getting around that guard of Marriaga. Lomachenko picks up the pace for just a moment here. Closing moments of round number 4. Clash of heads has caused a cut around the left eye of Vasily Lomachenko. He fights on, doubles up that left hand, goes to the body, then shoots it upstairs.
Ты пытаешься ударить сильно. Не нужно этого делать. Ты должен его находить. Находить его нужно. Ты понял? Нужно насыпать и находить повторные атаки. Не нужно его стараться ударить. Если ты будешь стараться попасть, ты не попадешь. Он ждет. Я тебе говорю. Правильно. Насыпай, вытягивай. Постарайся его движение делать. Понимаешь? Не подсыпал передний. Растяни, прокачай, пробей, разверни. Попробуй снять переднюю руку. Левой рукой снял, право сбил. Не твоя дистанция, не лезь. Мы же говорили, не надо сближаться. Зачем? Это не твоя дистанция. Дурака ему делать.
Back here, ringside, there is Olena Lomachenko, Vasily's wife, as she looks on with concern. Here's the clash of heads, Teddy.
Yeah, listen, I've been around 40 years. I'm going to take a shot that was intentional. Now, I know it could be an accident. I'm not in his mind, so I'm not the jury here. But I'm just going to say, when you're frustrated and you get to the place where you're at the cliff of hopelessness, sometimes you try anything, even a headbutt. It looked like he threw that head forward. Either way, a cut on the left corner of the eye for Lomachenko.
That review looked like to me that Marriaga actually went back, hit the ropes, and bounced off the ropes.
Yeah, you can catapult yourself. You can hit that rope and then you can bounce off it accidentally on purpose. Or maybe just accidentally.
Look at how he's able to follow Marriaga and place those punches. Marriaga now.
This is where you got to go the body. No, that's where you got to go the body. Look, very hard to give it the merit to Lomachenko. He's as close to flawless as we have in this business right now. But right there, the head's moving, the body's stationary. Go downstairs, put some water in the basement. Take that head movement away.
Straight right hand from the tough Marriaga. Veteran contender from Colombia.
Hey, even Neo in Matrix every once in a while made a mistake.
Remember, knockdown was scored in round number 3.
See, there's that little trick we talked about or we showed in the breakdown on film earlier where Lomachenko was to his right and throw the left hand.
As you said, Timmy, every which way he can dominate you, including the mental side of things. This is a fighter in complete control each and every time he's out there. Touching him to the sides, then goes to the head. Now creating just a little bit of space is the southpaw.
He's not just touching him, he's using throwaway punches. Throwaway punches that he doesn't care whether or not they land in any kind of definitive way. They set up something on the back end.
Like the master teacher he is, Teddy, right?
And it keeps Marriaga's hands at home to where he can bang on him and step around him and get on those angles.
Marriaga trying to chop down.
That's where he needs to go, downstairs to the body. Lomachenko. Don't be surprised if you see some looping shots every once in a while when Marriaga puts those earmuffs on, because you can go around the ear with shots.
End of 5. Lomachenko starting to showcase those sublime skills of his. And he has shown us more than just the physical stuff. Timmy, you pointed out moments like this after a knockdown, waving him on into the neutral corner, saying, bring it. Lowering his guard, putting his face forward, tempting Marriaga, breaking his will every which way.
Every which way, saying that, hey, I am the best. I fear no man, not you. You can't hit me, and I can hit you anytime I want to.
Dealing with that little mouse, Teddy, under the eye. Of course, the cut was caused by the clash in the 4th round near the left eye.
And even though, you know, you guys are talking about how he drops his hands and it suggests maybe or carelessness, he's aware of his surroundings. He knows when to do that, when he can get away with that. Kind of like a kid with his parent, knowing when the camera's not on, when that inside camera's not working, or when the parent's not watching, when his opponent's out of distance, that's when he will do it.
Well, Coach, I'm going to tell you this. He's brilliant, but I do not like it. You know, this is boxing. Anything can happen. Just takes one punch that you don't see. He can get careless at the wrong time and get clipped, and you can call it an accident or a lucky shot, and it's the end.
He doesn't play those antics when he's in that kind of danger zone. He's always out of that danger zone. His opponent's backing up, he'll drop the hands. He knows exactly when he can get away with those tactics.
Round 6, of course, championship 12-rounder with the WBO junior lightweight title on the line for Vasily.
See, what you got to do with Vasily, it's kind of like, again, being in a place where you're watching a magic act. You don't necessarily follow what the magician wants you to follow. He takes you and he takes your eyes and he places them somewhere where there's a little bit of a trick of hand, sleight of hand, where you can't see where the trick's coming. What he'll do a lot of times, Lomachenko, he'll move to the side. Instead of turning with him, act like you're going to turn. Get him to come back in front of you and nail him when he comes back in front of you.
Marriaga finding himself off balance for a moment, and look at Lomachenko again. And now a little Ali shuffle and back to business.
All these things are great. I mean, he looks great. He's possessing, he's wowing the crowd and everything. But I just turn it up. I want to see, he got all them skills in the world. Turn it up on this guy.
I think it's only a matter of time before he does, Timmy.
But Timmy, the one thing that he doesn't have hydrogen in his punches. That's the one place he hasn't been gifted. Not a huge puncher. He wants to break you down. He knows what his strength is, and I hate to use this word, but he might even know what his weaknesses are. Kind of like the Clint Eastwood movie. You know, man must know his limitations.
Coach, he's a bully. He loves beating on people.
That's what he's doing here at the end of 6, Timmy.
He's a bully.
He can back it up.
He's picking up the pace there. Strafing attack, landed that right hand that time.
Look, he's being forced to do it on the front end with an opponent who's just trying to survive right now. If he has to do it on the back end, back up and counter, he can do it.
6 dominating rounds in the books for Vasily Lomachenko. Number 3 in ESPN.com's pound-for-pound list. Number 6 is ringside. There's unbeaten American Terrence Crawford from Omaha, Nebraska. He has 2 of the World Championship belts at 140 pounds. The other 2 are owned by Julius Ndongo. They're going to meet up. 4 belts on the line on August 19th. Crawford is something special. Ndongo is the ultimate road warrior. From Namibia to Russia, he scored an upset knockout, claimed a belt. Went to Scotland, took on the champ Ricky Burns, beat him, won a belt. Now he's coming stateside to try to grab all 4 against Crawford. Gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, the difference with Crawford is number 3 on my pound-for-pound list. Lomachenko number 1, Ward number 2. 2 and 3 very close. I mean, that's a great compliment just to be that high. But for me, Crawford, believe it or not, he has more physical ability than Lomachenko. He just goes about it a different way. But he has more power, more physical presence than Lomachenko. Lomachenko just has more dimensions.
Well, I like Crawford. He's actually number 2 on my pound-for-pound list. You know, Andre Ward, I have him number 1. Crawford, how many guys you see right now that can turn southpaw, knock you out in southpaw position, turn right-handed orthodox, knock you out in that position as well? He's the only guy right now in boxing that's doing that. That's the reason why I have
There
number 2.
used to be a player years ago in football, Kurtz, a defensive end, they called him the freak. That's what I call Crawford. Physically, he's a freak. That's why he can move up so many weight dimensions, because of his size and his abilities.
Lead left uppercut from Lomachenko here. Now places a right hand to the body and comes upstairs with that right hand to follow. Trying to split the guard. Goes around, doubles up the left hand. Comes back, 2 uppercuts on the inside now.
Can anybody say demoralizing?
That is it, isn't it, Teddy? If you're Marriaga, what could you possibly be thinking right now?
I want out.
Every which way you are outclassed. And keep in mind, Marriaga's a 2-time title challenger.
I think what you're thinking right now is what my great mentor Customato used to say, a different line of work.
Good body shot, backs him up. Good body shot again. The uppercut comes, wraps around the guard with a right hand. Lomachenko in prime form here in the 7th.
Jack Grease, experienced referee, getting a little closer, putting his eyes on Marriaga.
Chopping down with a right hand. Left uppercut just off the mark. Marriaga's taking damage. Lomachenko, right uppercut that time.
Look, let's give a little credit to Marriaga here. A lot of those punches are missing. A lot are being thrown, but a lot are missing. Two reasons why he's still there. One is because he is moving his head. He is surviving. And the other, he's got the heart of a fighter.
Vasily settles in for just a moment, creates some range. Let's see if he goes on the attack in these last 20 seconds.
See, it's not just about the technical moves, the physical abilities. It's about the calmness. You have to be very calm to see the things in that ring in an uncalm place that Lomachenko sees.
Bolo's up that left hand before firing it off, and a knockdown scored with a sweeping punch from Vasyl. With a second to go in the round, Lomachenko scored the second knockdown of his night. That is it. Fight is over. Marriaga will take no more. TKO victory for Vasily Lomachenko.
See, that's where you need a compassionate, intelligent corner to do the right thing. The right thing was done.
In that 7th round, Lomachenko landed 44% of his total punches. More impressive were the power punches, including this last one that we will watch again. As his father, Anatoly, wraps Vasily in the Ukrainian flag and a celebration from family.
Take a look at the knockdown here. He gets trapped in the corner. When you're trying to get away from something so fast, you lose your footing. You get discombobulated. Not big damaging punches, but the spirit has already been crushed. He's trying to get away. His feet are under him. And I talked about it earlier. When the earmuffs are up, you go around those earmuffs. And that's exactly what Lomachenko did that. The earmuffs were up, the opening was around, behind the ear. And that's exactly what he did. He aimed that punch behind the ear. Marriaga was trying to get away. Lost his footing, went down.
He threw 83 power punches in that last round, landing 40 of them. With a second to go, the best one of all. For the official particulars, here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the challenger's corner informed referee Jack Reese that he was unable to continue. The end comes at the very end of round number 7. The winner by TKO victory and still WBO junior lightweight champion of the world, Vasyl High-Tech Lomachenko.
Well, another win there for Vasyl Lomachenko, making it 10-0 with 9 stoppages, or should I say 7 stoppages, I should say. But another masterclass. Just want to say, boys, impressed?
Yeah, not as impressive as I thought he was going to be. I think that's due to the tactics from Marriaga.
Yeah.
And obviously, after he felt the pressure from Lomachenko's feet, he just went into negative mode after a couple of rounds, and he was swinging that bowling right hand over the top. But I think Lomachenko was putting so much pressure on with his feet, throwing the little taps and the little disguises. He just didn't know where the hard shots were coming from, so he just went into defence mode, and that's why he survived so long, I think.
And do you think that's why Marriaga quit? Was it just the sheer pressure rather than the power of the shots?
Once the power of the shots, it is a bit of snapping in shots. He's not a devastating one-punch hitter, but it's enough power in his shots to command respect. And you know, he was getting hit with a lot of shots. He was getting hit constantly with a lot of shots, body, head. You know, very workmanlike performance like Lomachenko. He does what he does.
Yeah.
He come forward non-stop. Marriaga's an aggressive fighter. From a first second of the fight, Lomachenko put him on the back foot, just by what guy said, from his footwork, his movement, his timing. You know, you can be as aggressive as you want if you're not hitting nothing, and you're getting counted every time you throw a shot. It sort of changes your tactics. I've seen Marriaga a few times, and I've never seen him box like that.
Well, that's the sign of a great fight, isn't it? That judgment, the distance that they have. You know, that thing. Obviously, Marriaga put down in the 3rd round. It wasn't a heavy knockdown, but it was a clean shot. Wasn't through the guard. But then Lomachenko getting cut from it was nasty clash of heads, wasn't it?
Nasty clash of heads. I think Lomachenko threw an uppercut. Marriaga pulled back, made the uppercut miss. As he come back, just clash of heads together. I think Teddy Atlas said it was not accidentally on purpose. I don't think so. I think it was a pure accident. He just come back into the fight. But you know, I think my one criticism of Lomachenko is not so much a punch power. I think if he slowed his shots down and didn't throw so many and picked his shots, they'd be a lot harder. As the fight went on, he started looking for heavier shots. But you know, we've got to see what he wanted to do that night. Maybe he wanted to do the 6-7 rounds. He is that good that he can finish fights against most people or some people when he wants.
And class fighters make opponents change their tactics. And there's an old saying in there, you know, everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the face.
But was you impressed the way that even though Lomachenko was cut and a bruise, a bit of a welt under the right eye and a bit of a nasty cut over the left eye, that he never changed his tactic?
Yeah, I could only say, you know, if he was in against, he didn't box that way against Nicholas Walters because it was more of a threat.
Yeah.
I think with this guy, we were saying earlier, he wouldn't underestimate anybody. I'm not saying he underestimated him, but he just didn't he didn't respect him as much as what he respected someone like Walters. You see when at the end of the Walters fight, he didn't have a mark on him. I think it was only due to his sort of lack of respect for the guy that he got the cut and he got the bruise on his eye, but still wasn't a bad performance.
No, not. And he tried the showboat as well, didn't he? Tapping Marriaga on the head a little bit, he's done it a few times like that, but it was a bit more evident in this fight.
Which to me is quite annoying, you know, because he was getting into punching positions to let one go, and he was tapping the guy on the head, and I don't like all that. That's stupidness. But I've not seen him do that before. But I'd rather if he's put himself into punching positions. And let them go and get the guy out of there rather than make the fight last.
Well, here's the first knockdown here in round 3. Just again, you know, he's been talking early on, guys, about that movement under the punches and then landing with a straight. I think it was straight left right through the guard.
It was a straight left. It was a good shot. The punch landed.
Yeah, see, look at that.
I think it was a clash of legs as well. The legs were tangled up, which does southpaw orthodox. Again, that left hand, but he's pretty much falling back. He's caught
knockdown
after
in
on
the
the
7th,
glove.
isn't it?
But you know, I think Lomachenko just threw a lot of shots. He put on a performance. He put on a show.
Yeah.
I think sometimes he smothered his work a bit too much by doing things he was doing just tap tap tap. Later on, as the rounds went on, he slowed down, not too much, mind, a little bit, but he was looking for them uppercuts, and they were heavier looking shots. They were snappier looking shots, whereas before there was 4s and 5s at the same time off the same hand.
Yeah.
It was 1s and 2s, and they looked a bit more solid.
So this deal that they got over in the States here with Top Rank and ESPN, do you think he sold himself tonight, Lomachenko? Enough to maybe get opponents as scared as they have been, or to entice people to want to fight him, maybe?
We never know the intelligence of these guys. Perhaps he's that intelligent that he performed like he did tonight. Not that it was a bad performance, but he was under the weather. He held back a little bit for so many rounds, and perhaps he did that to try and sort of lure other guys in. But we don't know the method behind these guys.
Well, we can find out now because we've got Lomachenko and we can hear him being interviewed right now.
All right, Vasily, you make it to double digits in fights. Impressive fashion. It seemed like you enjoyed breaking him down. What kind of performance did you want to have tonight on ESPN in front of these fans?
Thank you very much, all. Thank you very much who support me. It was interesting. Thank you. It was very interesting fight for me. I have this fight. I have more experience, you know. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, when you look at your performance, you always say, I judge my performance based on how my face looks. You've got a cut, you've got a mouse under your eyes. How will you judge your performance?
I need training my defense. I need to work on my defense.
All right. The offense was actually working pretty good tonight. But everybody wants to know the future. Who do you want to fight next, Vasily?
For me, it doesn't matter. Anybody. I want to fight. I want to unify titles. For me, it doesn't matter.
So, boys, you're from Lomachenko himself. Right, I've asked this many times, but no, right, who do you want to fight next, Gary?
Linares.
Ends?
If a unification, obviously I'd like to fight Davis. Don't think it'll happen, but that's a fight that would get me excited rather than Belchett and Corrales.
Lovely. Well, that would suit me down the ground. Thank you, Enzo. Thank you, Gary, for your help tonight. Thanks from me. Thank you guys for watching. But I guess Ramon Beltran had a good win. A couple of prospects had some good testing fights, but tonight was all about Lomachenko.